Hola estudiantes, esta información está en paquete página 13. So packet page 13. The following verbs are all irregular in the yo form. And if you're interested in more information, you can see text page 277 or in your cuadernos all the way at the end of Unidad 5, Lección 2. That's where you have more information. Poner, as in to set the table. Poner is the verb that means to put or to place. And it's only irregular in the yo form, and then it's going to be a regular ER verb, so it's going to end in es, hemos, es. Make sure you have the accent, and then en. The yo form, if you normally conjugate it, you drop the ER and you'd be left with pono, but that's not correct. It's going to be pongo. And it's going to be pongo because we call these types of verbs yo-go verbs. So in the yo form, they end in go. We know two other verbs already that do this, except you didn't know they were yo-go verbs. The verbs hacer and the verbs tener also do this. And then it's normal. Pones, pone, ponemos, pones, ponen. Yo pongo la mesa. Fantástico. Salir, to leave, a new vocab word having to do with party. And again, that's irregular just in the yo form. And then it's going to be a normal IR verb. Sales, sale, salimos, salis. Make sure you have accent on the I. And salen. Fantástico. But in the yo form, it's not going to be salo. Instead, it's going to be salgo. Traer, same thing. Traer, to bring, as in the waitress brings all of your food on a tray, so that's why it's traer. Again, it's irregular. It's not going to be trao, but you got it. Traigo. That one's irregular not only because you have the go, but also because you have an I. Then it's going to be normal. Traes, trae, traemos, traes. Make sure you have the accent on your E because you have three vowels right next to each other. And then traen. Muy bien. Yo traigo regalos a la fiesta. I bring presents to the party. Fabuloso. We have three more that are irregular. They're also boot verbs and they're irregular in the yo form. So they're going to change from E to I, the verb decir, which is to say or to tell, as in I tell secrets, or I always say happy birthday. And it's a boot, but it's also a yo-go. So in the yo form, digo, D-I-G-O. Then you actually hang on to the I. It's a regular IR verb. Dices, él, usted dice, ellos, ellas, ustedes dicen, they say. Nosotros decimos. Make sure it ends in I-M-O-S because it's an IR verb. Make sure that you go outside the boot so you get rid of the I. And vosotros decís. Venir is the verb that means to come to a place. And it's also a boot verb. It's going to change from E to IE. It is exactly like the verb tener. So tener is irregular in the yo form. Venir is also irregular in the yo form. Stop and think for a second what the yo form of tener is. Take off the T and put a V instead. So instead of tengo, you have vengo. The next one, tu. Good. Instead of tienes, vienes. The only one that's going to be interesting is the nosotros form because it's an IR verb. Outside the boot, venimos. Then venís and vienen. All of these verbs have in common that they are yo-go verbs. And we talked about that they're going to change in the yo form to G-O. This next verb, the last one, also has an irregular yo form, but it's not a yo-go verb. We've talked about this one as well. It's just like the verb ser. Dar is the verb that means to give. And the yo form of ser is soy. The yo form of dar is doy. It's only irregular in deal form, and then it's a regular AR verb. You drop the AR, you're left with D, and you're going to add as. The next one, da. These are your AR endings. You've dropped your AR in the verb dar, to give, so you just add the D in front of it. Das da, damos dais, dan. Fabuloso. Practicaremos mañana. We're going to practice mañana. Adiós.